Hi folks, hope you're doing well. Well, this one the coward is going to find offensive. I think they're going to give a thumbs down to this one. That coward. The one who will never give a comment, only a thumbs down. Because this one is talking about looking at the fruit. Because I did one recently talking about America, and it amazes me that people can't see this. But it doesn't really, because when I know the church as I know it, you know, I've had conversations with pastors recently, and as soon as you mention look at the fruit, they back off as if you are, as if they're a vampire and you're holding a cross. Yeah, they recoil at that suggestion. It's almost demonic to suggest to a church nowadays, as far as they see, that we should examine the fruit. It is something heavily suggested in the Bible. Certainly in the New Testament. Heavily suggested. You know the one you sing about all the time in church? Jesus. Yeah, where you've used the worldly version of his name rather than his name. But anyway, okay, him, yes. He mentioned about fruit many times, and the importance about judging people according to their fruit. And of course it's mentioned in the letters as well. But to the church, yeah, doing that is judging. But we're actually told to judge, aren't we? We're told to judge in a righteous manner. Looking at people's fruit is looking at their fruit as if, they are saying that they are of God. So okay, there should be fruit to show that. In who they are as a person, in how they live their life, in what they do, what they say, how they act, and whether there are any signs and wonders, etc, etc, etc. Right? That all goes as fruit. So when the church says no, we shouldn't be looking at fruit, the reason why is because they know that the fruit gives a bad evidence. They know that. The fruit shows bad evidence. That's why they don't want fruit to be looked at, because it shows bad evidence. Yeah. Anything like that. If you look at any business and you're saying, can I take a look at this? And they're saying, no. Are they saying no because the results are so good you don't need to see it? Yeah, if you're supposed to be, if they're supposed to be showing you how well they are doing, then the most obvious thing, and you ask to see that, and they say no, you should automatically be incredibly suspicious of that. Because the reason why they're saying no is because what you then see shows that things aren't going quite as good as what they're trying to tell you. Well, as I said, I've done the videos about America and about the fact that picking your leaders from America is insane. Well, part of the reason, again, look at the fruit. Yeah, when Times Magazine did that, the cover saying, "Is God dead?" They weren't doing that based upon the church. It wasn't because they were looking at church. It's saying that church doesn't seem to be functioning too well. I don't think Times Magazine really gave a crap about church. They were looking at society. They were looking at the breakdown of society. And our society has seemed to have gone away from those values of Christianity. That was a reflection of the church. When America, well, put it this way, I mean, I was thinking the other day, isn't it incredible that, yeah, there's hardly anyone alive now who would have been alive at the time when America dropped the atomic bomb on Japan. Doing such a heinous, demonic thing. Now, you would think a church of God would react in absolute horror at that, wouldn't you? Go and look at the evidence. Go and look at the evidence. Was a church in America, clothing themselves in sackcloths and, wailing in the streets about this horrific thing that their nation has done? Oh, no, there were people protesting. There may have been people who were churchy who were protesting, or from church. Same as there have been people from church who were actually, involved in deciding to drop that bomb, and involved in, all aspects of it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like this whole idea that a politician has to pretend that he's a Christian, to get voted in, because you have a so-called Christian right, and you might have a Christian left, I'm not sure. Certainly have a Christian right. Well, of course you have a Christian left, because the church, in the main, is very much leaning left. Very much leaning left. And what I find quite bizarre is you've got people, ministers, leaders, coming from areas like Texas that are very, very right-wing states. Very right-wing states. Well, have been. For generation after generation and generation. I'm not sure what they are now, but they have been. And these pastors are very left-wing leaning. Certainly the policies on the left-wing. All this safe space and all this crap. They are following that teaching, even in the right-wing areas. Certainly the Baptist church are doing it, and Pentecostal church leaders are doing it from America. So it's like, it's quite bizarre, because you would have thought you'd see a difference, wouldn't you? Because there is such a thing as the right-wing church. That's all gun-toting and all this crap. We believe in God, but we love guns far more. Yeah, okay. Right. We trust in God, but we have to have a gun by the bed at night. Just in case a burglar comes in, then we can kill them. Uh-huh. Right, that's mega trusting God, isn't it? Yeah. So again, America, when we look at the fruit, what do we see? What do we see of the church when we look? And we're inviting these leaders who are being brought up in that to come over and minister over here. Look at the fruit. The fruit is there. The fruit is there. This whole idea that kids in school bow down to the flag and worship the flag. What's the church doing about that? In America. What does the church do about that? What about the school system where, an awful lot of these school shooters are kids who were basically invisible in school, because schools are all about the rich kids and the kids who are big and strong and who could be the basketball players and the American football players. Yeah, that schools are dominated by them, and they are the power kids, and the school spends so much money on them and ignore all the other kids, and the other kids can be bullied and treated as if they don't exist. And what is the church doing about that? Nothing? Yeah, okay, yeah. Generalisation, I'm speaking. I'm not speaking... There might be odd churches that are trying to do something about it, but generalising, you can see by the fruit that nothing really is being done by the church in all these areas that are incredibly troublesome in America. During that situation in, I think it's San Francisco, wasn't it? Where, was it San Francisco? Where basically they banned the police and, they were complete anarchy for a while. Again, there were churches in the area. There were people who were involved in that who'd been going to churches, who thought that that was the right thing to do. So again, that's fruit reflecting the churches in those areas, right? Of course it is. That is the point. I'm not going to say in any way, shape or form that the churches in the UK are great. They're not. Because part of the problem is what happens in America, generally speaking, follows over here very quickly, and the rest of Europe. So, it may start in America, but, the churches over here soon pick it up and say, oh, that's good. We'll have some of that. They shouldn't do. They should be led by God, not be led by America. So, the churches over here and the ministers over here have no excuse themselves either. But, as I say, come on. Recognise the fruit as what it is, and stop going there to get your ministers. Let them sort out their own nation first. Let them be, producing fruit in their own country first. Do I believe there's evidence of that? No. Not if you look at America as a whole, not generally. No. As I said, there may be individually. And it's quite possible that Jeff Oakes' church in America may be one of these churches. It might be. Do I think it is? No. But it might be. Anything is possible, right? But do I think it is? Well, from what I've seen of him, no. See, this is where I said in the one the other day, talking about the fact of how he was chosen. Take away the red flags that I've noticed in him personally, but this is where they come back. Do I think that it's likely that his church in America is one of these ones that's producing great fruit? No, because of the red flags I've seen in him. There's no way, shape or form that he could be how he is and sent from that church if that church was of God and producing fruit, good fruit, because they would recognise the bad stuff in him and they wouldn't want him spreading that all over the place as a representation of them, would they? Really? So look at the fruit, and look at your own fruit as well. Bye bye.